Hi everyone, so this is an e-commerce website where I use the Cloudinary in the backend with MongoDB. This is the register web page, and here I'm going to show you in the console what will happen exactly with the data I'll send with Axios to the server and how the server will respond with an image that will appear in my profile as an avatar in the navbar in the home page. So let's see, I'll choose an image here. And I'm gonna write some data. So when I register, as you see, there is a toastify that comes and tells me that congratulations, you have logged in successfully. When it goes, you will see that my avatar is apparent in the navbar, and as you see, it's my face. So how it did that with the CDN without any interference from me. As you see here in the database, this is what's stored in MongoDB after I did a Cloudinary upload to the image you saw a little time ago, and this is only what's stored from the image in the database. Only this. This is actually something called the public ID, and we will know what exactly the public ID is. There is nothing that you can get from this public ID, but when you go here to the image, you will find the CDN link. When you go to this link, you will start to see what are the information it tells you. This is the past name of my Cloudinary, and this is actually the important profiles that the image are put in, and these are some transformations. The ones like the thumb, the face, the height 40 and the width 40 are some transformations that are being done by Cloudinary, not by me. And actually this is the way I am naming my avatar. As you see, I said Amin20, which is the username for my avatar, and the word avatar is actually something I've put to be static in every image. So I essentially choose what is the name of my image. Let me show you how we can do that and focus only on Cloudinary. So this is the project setup. I actually created an React app, and as you see, we have two files or two folders, the Cloudinary, which is the client side, and the server, which is the server side. Let's see them. The Cloudinary is actually the same. It's create React app. The only thing that I did is that I removed all the files here and only left the app.js. And by the way, the index is made by React 18, which is the latest update for React. So you will find root method and the root render instead of the React DOM.render, which is actually the newest way of making the React app by React 18. However, this is app.js. Nothing is here except this hello, and we have a helpful snippet, just like something I put inside all the things that we may use. But don't worry, we will explain everything in details. So just this is something for me to remind me with some things. This is for the client side. Nothing is, and it's here. I have actually launched the npm start, so you can see the app here with the hello and the same message here. This is for the client side, and for the server side, we have a Cloudinary file, but it's not having anything right now, and we will put in it everything that we will do in the server side for Cloudinary. We have some environment variables, and we have the index.js. In the index.js, we require the .env. We installed the Express. We instantiated an app. We made a port, and we put the port in the environment variables, and we will show them right now. And we also made a required CORS because it's the cross origins allowance, which will enable us actually to deal from the client side and send requests by Axios to the server side, in which it will just like receive them because we have CORS enabled. And here we are using CORS as a middleware between the request and response. We have here also something very important, which is the express.json, which will, if we have a form data that we need to send from the client side to the server side, we will show them by the express.json because it will turn them into JSON files that can be readable by the server. And this is very important. Put the limit to something that is bigger than the normal, because you might not always you will upload to Cloudinary just an image, and not always the image will be just like 1 megabyte or something. Some people will put a DSLR camera image and that will be very big. Sometimes it reaches 8 megabytes. So to be on the safe side, you should put the limit to a bigger size. And of course, if you are downloading videos to the Cloudinary by the server, if you are just like making a movie or something that people can share videos on and upload their videos just like YouTube, you might think, you might raise this a little bit to be 500 megabytes or something, whatever you want. So this depends on the files that is coming to the server and that you are expecting to have. And here I just have an app.get route with the welcome on this page, and app.post where we will do all our work and we will post on the server. So this is the server with a slash. Let's see actually the environment variables. We have 4 environment variables: the port, which is 8.001, and the Cloudinary URL, the Cloudinary name, Cloudinary API key, and the Cloudinary secret. However, these ones are actually very important because they are the ones that we will establish the Cloudinary Connect with. Let's see how we can get these. So that's all the files in the server side, and in the Cloudinary we will start to set up everything here. So let's see how to do that from the Cloudinary website and how to get these and start working on them. So let's now start to set up the Cloudinary on the server side, because you have to start that on the server side and not in the front side actually. So actually you have a choice of course, but this is for me actually the best way. So we have a cloudinary.js file where we will just like set up the Cloudinary files that we need, and this is very easy actually, don't worry. And the other thing is that we need these environment variables. So let's see how I got these environment variables. When you go here, you will find your Cloudinary. Of course, you will set up like or sign up like any other platform, and the sign up will be very easy, except that you have to choose one of two, and you will choose the API method or the API account, because the API one is for the developers. You will have your cloud name, your API key, your API secret, and these are the 3 pieces of information that you need to set up or configure the Cloudinary. Let's see how we can configure, which is the first step. You have to configure it to be able to work with it. If you press here on the getting started, you will find that everything is actually written for you and arranged in the way that you will use it. So you have the first thing is to configure your SDK, which is the Cloudinary account or the Cloudinary API that you will work with. And you have here the way to upload assets, and here how you can do some transformations on the assets that you send from the CDN back to the client side. You do not have every time to send something like a 4 megabyte picture just to put an avatar of 40 pixels height and width on the front end web page. You don't have to do that. So the transformation will help you to just send back and resize a clip and compress the image that is coming to you with the width and height, for example, you need, and a lot of other features actually of transformations. But this will help you a lot, because the sent photo maybe just like turns from 4 megabytes to something that is just like 400 bytes. Can you imagine that? Yes, I have images with that size coming from the server side or from the CDN, because I have just like made some transformations. So transformations is a very powerful tool by Cloudinary. Now let's see how to start configuration, and this is very easy. I'm using node.js, so I will install Cloudinary, and I have already installed Cloudinary, and all I have to put are these, the Cloudinary configuring. Let's copy them, but remember that if you put that only, nothing will work. So you will have to come here and go to the node.js, and you will find that you have to set up Cloudinary with this. So let me show you how, because sometimes it's not that clear. Let's copy this one first. We will go to the Cloudinary file we made. That's in the server side. Let's close the front end and let's put that here, and actually like that. And at first, of course, the first thing we will require Cloudinary, but make sure when you require Cloudinary to put it like this. So I'll take these, sorry, not these, just this one from here, and I'll put it here. So now I have a Cloudinary required, and I need now to configure and set up the Cloudinary. So let's do that. Let's go to the configuration again and do that. So this Cloudinary is the one that we required here, and now these are the configurations, and this is all what we need to configure Cloudinary. Now we can use it if we will remove this, because this is just like for the upload, and this is the third part of our work. We don't need it now. So all I will say here is to module.export will equal Cloudinary. Now you can use Cloudinary as a module in all the parts of your server. So we will go to the index in the server and we will put that here. Also make sure that you have required.env, because this will be very important. And let's see here, Cloudinary will equal require, and we will now not require it from the npm packages. We will require it just from the file we have made for it, from Cloudinary. And sorry, I guess I should make it like this. Yeah, we have a Cloudinary file and the Cloudinary.js. So we now have the Cloudinary that we have already set up and configured. Make sure that you have the .env required at the top of your server, because this will enable you to use the environment variables. And let's go here. As you see, I have the Cloudinary and everything is booked for me, but I do not prefer this way, because you know that these should be environment variables, because these are very secretive. You don't want anyone to reach your Cloudinary upload files, so you need to make these secrets in with the process.environment names of them. And how to do that? You will just like configure or require .env at the top of your page too, like that. Now you can use the env variables. So for this one, well, I have them here. So as you see, I've put the Cloudinary process.env names from the env file, and I put them here just like to encrypt the data of my Cloudinary database, and that's of course more secure. Now that's all what we need here in the Cloudinary file, and it's ready now to receive and upload things to the server by the front end. Let's now see what is the next step. So in the last video we said how we can configure the Cloudinary and just require it here to be ready to work with it and make the upload method. But we have two typos here that we need to fix before we go on, which is I forgot to put here the Cloudinary word, and here I forgot to say process.env. Now everything is ready. We will save, and actually we can now upload, but of course there is a method for upload. But before we do that, we have to go to make a form on the client side, and through this form we will send an Axios request with a file that we have. Let us first make the form, and I actually have a React fragment here in which I'll put the form. I've copied that from the snippets because we do not just have to create the form from the beginning. Let me explain to you the form. The form has an onSubmit function, and it has a label for the input which says upload your photo here, and an input which is of the type file, and it has an ID, which is can be anything, and then on it change function, which will have a handle change function that we will identify here before the return, and it also has a button to submit the form. So let's now make the so let's say maybe file and set file. This is the use state, something we will just like update this state once we download a file, and just like show it to you to see what is the file that we have and how it is shaped. And let's make here a handle change function which has an event. Sorry, we have a typo. So in the handle change, we will console.log the event.target.files, because the file will be on the files of the target, and we will set the file here to be the e.target.files. Of course, we will just like comment this right now, because we want to see what are the files, because we will not take all what's in the files, we will only take the file inside that. So this is the handle submit, and let's make another one for, sorry, this is the handle change. Let's make another one for the handle submit. There will be no e here, and we will just put it like that, and we will not put anything inside it until we see our form and we see what will happen when we change anything that happens in this input. Let's see that on the client side like that. Let's see if we have any. No, we don't have any errors, so this is good. I'm using Bootstrap, by the way, just like to make things look like that. And let me also put just like a container . Okay, so we have here an upload method, and we can choose a file, for example this image here, and now this is what appears. So when you handle the change and you come to see what is the target that you pressed, you will see that you pressed these files. And what are the files? What it consists of? It consists of a file list which has a 0. It's just like a 0 key, and the 0 key has a file, and the file has some information like the name, the size of the file, the type, and everything else. So you do not need the files itself, you just need this one. So here we will just say 0. So let's see what will happen here. If I made it again like that, well, nothing happened because we will have to refresh. Now you have the file, you have a name and a size and everything. So this is the file that you will need. So we can say that this is called file here. And it will be equal to that. And let's say that to show this file right now, before we upload anything to the Cloudinary, to show it here, we need to convert this file to something readable by JavaScript. So this is not currently readable, because if we try to put this as an image here, it will not be put as an image. You need a reading file system, which is actually provided by the file system API from the MDN, Mozilla developer network, we will see that. Let's see that right now. So let's quickly review what we have done up till now. We now have a file which we stored coming from the event.target.files, and we chose the index of 0, which is the file that we need. We now can just like set the file in the state to file to just like use it freely in anywhere inside our application component or app component. And here, as you see, whenever we just like put something in the input, on that change we will store a file in the state. So now what we need to do is, maybe yes, we can just like directly enter on how to upload that to and make the Axios request and upload that to Cloudinary and everything, but we do not need that right now. We need to know how can we just like preview this file first before we put it on Cloudinary. So let's make a function, and this function will be called preview files, and we will give this function the file that we have. There is nothing called preview files right now, so we need to make it. So I'll say here preview files, and it will be a function like that. You can put it of course in the ESX method. So whatever, it will take a file, and the file is coming from here. So let's now see how can we deal with it. We need first to set up a reader. Now you will tell me, what is the reader? The reader is the integration, the API that enable you to read a file like an image, like any file that's coming from the input, CV, text, image, whatever, video. You need a file reader to read that file and turn it into a URL, or turn it to a buffer, or turn it to anything that you need to preview on your application or in your website. We need here just like to put an image, and this image will take a source. Right now we do not have a source for this image, so let's create a state. In this state we will put something called image, and in which we will just like right now, once we get done from the just like putting an image, after we finish making the reader read our file and turn it into an image, we will update the image and start putting here the URL that we will turn it into a source and preview it in the image element. So I want you to focus now. We will upload now a file, and we need to handle it through the preview files function. We instantiated a reader from new file reader, and let's see this file reader here on MDN. So as you see on the MDN, let me firstly put you on the file reader page. The file reader is just like something to read the contents, and it's asynchronous, so pay attention to that. To read the contents of files that is coming from where? It's coming from your computer through an input. Okay, it's just like a file or a blob. So once you read it, you need now, like you see here, it's telling you that it's coming from an input, and once you do that, this file reader has three ready states, which is once when it's empty, once when it's loading, and once when it's done. We will not need this right now. There are many ways that you can get information, or that you can get a result from the file reader, but let's see here, the file reader result is actually what we need, and we will come to this later, but let me show you now what you can do with it. Once you instantiate a file reader, you have the ability to reach some methods, some like array buffer for videos or something like that. And what we really need here is the read as data URL, which is the way you can turn an image to a data URL, and which can be valid as a source for an image element. So let's go inside that. So you will give it the file or the blob, which is the word blob here. You will give read as data URL a file, And once you give it that file, you are now on an asynchronous function. So what will happen is that you will wait for the result. How you can do that? Here is the input, and we will put the file here on change. So once we give it the input, the reader, which is a new file reader, will start to make a function and will start to read our image file. Let me show you that. It's not so clear here, but we will do that right now. This is the practical application for the things. He wants to show you a live result right now. So this is what we want to make. Let's see how we can do that. Before, let me show you that there is the function that we need is really here, but I don't know where it is exactly. However, I can make that. So I'll come here, and I instantiated a reader inside the preview files, and now reader dot read as data URL, and I'll give it the file that we have here. So yes, this is the way we can read the file, read it as data URL, and now we need just like to wait for when it loads. As you see, these are the functions that you can use, so we need to wait until the load of the file ends, and after it ends, this is actually an event listener, so it will give me a function like that. So on load end, what we will do is that we will take the results, and as we said, the results has a ready state of 0 and 1 and 2, and on load ended, the result of course will be 2. So it means that it has our file and it already transmitted it. So we need this reader.result, and we remember that we have an image state here, so we need to set this image to be the reader.result, and let's console log this to see what our image will be. Sorry, I don't know how I did that. It's very strange here. So set image. So we will set the image of our state to be like you see. So now let's see how we can see this image after we do that. Do you think it will work? Let's see. As we said, we have made a function that is called preview files. We have given it the file, and we made an instantiated reader. The reader will read as data URL to convert the file that we have to a data URL that we can read by the image element. We gave it the file, and we waited it till the end as after it loads, and when it finished the loading, we should put this here. We set the image, and now we are actually consoling this image to see what are the results of the image, and we are even putting the image here inside the source to make it presentable on our front-end interface. So let's choose a file, this one. Alright, so as you see, instantly it appeared on our container, as you see, and let's review again what we have done. So what we have done here is that we have put an input as a file, and in the handle change we said that we want the 0 index of these files that we have, which is actually a file. We set the file state to be file, and we made a function that is called preview files, which will enable me to see this file uploaded on my front-end interface. In the preview files, we said that we want to instantiate a reader, and we saw in the MDN, the Mozilla Developer Network, how or what is the file reader, and you can search more and see more about it. We read as data URL because that's how we transmit it into an image URL that we can read in the source of our image element. And on load end, which is a feature that is provided to the reader to to say that the loading has ended of the file and you're ready now to take the result. So we took the result, which we saw also in the MDN, and we set our state of image to that result, and we console log this result. But let's see what is the console log of this result. We don't have anything here, right? Let's try to just like take this from here and put it here, just like to see what will happen. Let's choose another one like this one. Yeah, this is what we have. This is something that I want to tell you, that it's called the image base 64 URL, which is the way it reads the image and make it just like with the size it needs. So this is a way to read the image. It's called image base 64 URL, and this is how we're gonna send this image to the Cloudinary. So remember that the URL that we made here is not just like a URL, a true URL. It is a way to transmit the image to image base 64 URL, which is something can be readable by the source. Of course, you will not find that until you make this function that we made. Now let's see that how we can just like put this image or send this image in the base 64 URL that we saw to in Axios request and post it to our server and make Cloudinary receive it and upload it. Let's see that. So currently we have handled how to preview an image on the client side. As you see, whenever I choose a file like that, it will start appearing here with no more actions from me. So as you see, whenever I choose anything, it will be previewed on the image or on the client side. So, but as you see, this photo actually was taken by a camera and it's just like it has a big size. We don't need all of that, especially if this one will be an avatar. So we will take later how to handle that in the upload transformation features of Cloudinary. Right now, let's learn how to submit this to Cloudinary. So we need actually an Axios request. So let's set up Axios, but before that, we are here actually. Okay, let me tell you that I have made the input accept only files like image, PNG, JPEG, and all the formats of images that we need. But this is not enough to just like predefine the selected files to be images. If we set all files, you will find that if we have files in this place, we are able to send them to the server. So this is not the way to set the input to enable just like to accept only images. It's not a right way, and maybe someone will just like send you a video of 1 GB, so you do not need to, and you do not have to accept that here or to crash the server because the file is so big or something like that. You can limit what's coming to this input inside the server side, not inside the client side. The client side will always just like send any file that he wants, even if after the accept input. So let's see how we can just like make a server request. So we will import Axios, and I have Axios on my npm packages or the node modules. So import Axios, yes, from Axios, like that. And on submit, we have an on submit. Yes, we have a handle submit, and we will send to the Axios request. We will make that just like an asynchronous function. And for the Axios, we need to make it with a result feature and await the upcoming results. So await Axios dot post. We will post the data that we have, and here we should say what is the place where we want to send that, which is a local host. I guess I need here just like 2 slashes. Yeah, localhost 8001, which is actually here. So now I have a post request and I need to send it data. We will leave this empty because we don't have any configurable or any options to configure our sorry, I'll leave this one should be empty. Sorry, the configuration is the third part of Axios request, but here we will send the image. So I'll send something called an image, and in it I will put the image which is actually coming from the state. So image is a string which will be sent with a property of image. I can actually just put the image here, but I do not want just like this, but I do not want that because I want a property to store the image, because the image itself is actually just like an image page 64 and you saw how big is that. So we just need a property to hold this image inside it. Why it's not reading it? Yeah, it's reading the image right now. Now let's open a try and catch block to receive what is coming from the server, the response that is coming from the server, and in the catch error we will console log the error, and in the try we will console log the result that is coming, but not all the result. We will just need the data, because you know that Axios send a lot of things. Among them there is the data that we need. Okay, like that we will console the data that is coming. In the server side we don't have anything right here, and we don't have a Cloudinary upload setup, but let's just like console log the request.body that is coming to us from the client side and respond with a JSON which says I have received your data. So we will console log the request body here, and we will send this JSON to the network here. Let me open the network because the response.json will appear here, and we will empty this. Let's see what we have here. If we upload it, I think everything is okay. The submit function, the post that we have. Okay, let's go back to the application. So we have everything. Yes, so the handle submit is okay, and I think we are ready to get everything that is coming back. We don't even need to read the data from here. We can read it from the console because I think I put that in the console. So let's submit. Okay, please select the file. Here is the file. Let's empty this and submit. I forgot to just like prevent default here. We have submitted the file, so everything is okay. But we need just like to prevent the default submitting a function of the submit function, and we can do that here. Yes, we have sent the no. Yeah, okay, so everything is perfect. We have the file here, as you see, in the request.body with actually a property that is called image, which is actually saving the needed info that we need about the base 64 image. We can see the type of the image, which is the data, and we can see all the transmitted, the coded version of the image, which will be encoded and made to URL and saved in the Cloudinary. So now we can handle the image. Let's see how we can actually start to make this or upload whatever that is coming from the body, which is the image, whatever that is coming from here, let's put it inside Cloudinary or upload it to Cloudinary. So as we said, to upload an image to the server, we made an Axios post request, and here we are receiving the request like you see, which is all that. And now let's just like start to really receive an image and upload it to Cloudinary. So I will extract the image property that we have sent from the request body like that, and I will start to upload this image inside Cloudinary. How we can do that? Let's go to the Cloudinary API and see the upload asset feature, and let's go to the node.js way, which is here. And as you see, we have Cloudinary version 2 uploader.upload, and all we have to do is to put the image source, which is the image that we have here, and start to, if we want to make a public ID form for it or something, and give it a function, and in the function we can console log the results. This, let's take it and start dealing with it in our way, because I will tell you how to handle that in an advanced and in a better way than what's written in the API library. So here we don't need the v2, because if you remember, we have set up that, sorry, I forgot that. We have set up that with the v2, so we don't need it. So we have it here. This is the Cloudinary, and this is the method that we will use to handle uploading a file. We don't need this file right here, so we will take it away and we will put our image. After that, we don't have to set a public ID. The library will set a public ID for us. As you see, I copied that from the library, right? But now we need to put here some presets. Is it necessary? No, you can just like skip it or anything, but I will show you some of the presets that I used in my e-commerce website. So let me paste them here. At first, I used an upload preset, and actually you have to use an upload preset. Let's see what is the upload preset, because I named it unsigned upload. Let's see that here and how to use it. So before you can upload anything to the library, you need to have an upload preset. There is a default one, I guess, because if you did not mention what are the upload presets, it will go to the upload presets that is actually the default, which is a signed one. But believe me, you don't need the signed one. The signed one means that you have to send a header with the request every time you try to upload an image, and the header, just like if imagine that you are an admin and you want to send product images to the Cloudinary, then you have to get an admin authorized key. So that is the signed one. You need a key to send with every Axios post request to the server to actually accept that you can alter or update or upload an image to Cloudinary. So you don't need a signed one when you try to register a new user. A new user should not have any keys and should not have any authorization or authentication keys. So you need an unsigned one, which means that anyone can upload an image to your website. So this is what you need if you want to register a new user. I named it unsigned upload, and the way you do that is just like add upload presets from here. So you will choose a name for the upload presets. You can say it whatever you want. I just named it unsigned uploads because this is an expressive name. The signing method, you'll choose unsigned, and I repeat, if this is an image that you want anyone to be able to send. The folder, do you need to save that in a certain folder? I have made in the media library here, I have made a folder that is called user avatar, in which I send all the avatar images that the user put. So I have this file here. You can just like simply make a folder from here, just like add a folder and add whatever folder name that you want, one for the products, one for the avatar, whatever you want, and just put the name of the folder here. So the folder I will use is user avatar. By the way, it's optional. You don't have to suggest a folder, but in that case the images will be here. Sometimes you want to be more organized, so you want to put the avatars of the users in a folder for them. After that, to enable the overwrite method actually is a way that you can overwrite the existing assets with the same public ID. So if you have an image with the same public ID, the public ID is actually the name of the image, which is coming just like after the past name of the, how I can tell you that. Well, if you try to prevent or preview an image on a file like here or something, you will have something like slash and the name of the image, avatar.png or whatever. This is the public ID of the image. So sometimes you choose to preset the public ID, and sometimes you let it choose whatever a public ID to add to you and generate just like a random characters to rename the image. So to enable this thing, you are enabling to update the image with a new, not save an image twice if it has the same public ID. And by the way, you need this because if somebody chose a picture that is already by accident actually uploaded by another user in the Cloudinary as an avatar, because sometimes people use just like not their own images, an image from the internet. So if the user chose an image that is already in the public with a public ID and it's stored in your media library, this way enable you to, it will use the same public ID. Other than that, if you turn that off, then the upload will fail, and the asset that the user who accidentally chose an image that someone else chose before, it will not be uploaded. So the default is on anyway. So this is a way that you can make an upload preset, and as you see here, I have my upload preset. I have a unique file name to true, and all the things, most of them are actually default ones. The folder I chose is here, and the public ID is actually left to be whatever the image is. So let's go back now and look again at our presets that we have added, and we just changed this one. So after we copied the things from here, we just altered in this part. Okay, so let's go back again. So the upload presets are the presets that I chose for my image. The public ID, I used to choose what is it. For example, if you have a form and you have a username, maybe you want the avatar of the image be with the public ID of the username plus the word avatar. I used to do that because I want the person, whenever he choose his image in the browser and see it, he see with it his username. So it will look like Amin avatar, Muhammad avatar, Ali avatar, or George avatar, something like that. The allowed formats. This is very important, my friends, because the allowed formats are actually the way we will prevent the user from uploading any files other than images. So PNG, JPG, or whatever, but nothing like a PDF, nothing like a big file or something like that. So allowed formats are only images in this case. So here we have the image, here we have the upload presets, and here we have the function at the end. This function actually sends an error if there is an error, and it sends the result if the result is okay. So I'm not handling the error right here. So let me handle the error if error. CLG error, because I will show you how we can send a false file and how that will be handled, and it will be refused from the Cloudinary cloud image uploading system. And here the result will appear if there is a result. I will show you what is the result, and actually we will send the result to the front end to be handled on the front end side. And I have to choose a status for that of 200 because it means success. So by this way, actually we have a Cloudinary upload method, and by this way you don't need anything else. But suppose that you don't only need the Cloudinary upload to send the request right away. So we will remove this from here, because most of the times you will handle a lot or a large load of form data, so you may need this only as a step in the post requested. So uploaded image will be that, and I will await the result of it. When it finishes, let's try to response.status. I have written that right? No? Okay. So I'll send the uploaded image here, and let's catch if there are any errors. Let's catch that error. So by this way, we have a post request that is ready. We have an image that we extracted from the body. We can send, of course, many more data, just like a first name or something, and it will come from the body too. We will choose an upload presets to upload our image, and we will have a public ID that we can name whatever we want. Of course, I can't name it right now with the username because I do not have a username right now. So I will just deal with the avatar, and you can write it now with the normal way. Now we have a I will not preset the public ID here, because if all the images are called avatar, then this is a bad thing. So I do not have something unique to put the images with. Sometimes you may need something unique like the username, whatever you need, but we will take that from here, and Cloudinary will handle giving my images a public ID. But remember that this public ID is something we need, because this is what we will send to the database if we have a MongoDB database or whatever, and it's what we will send actually to the front end. So we will only extract from this uploaded image sent files only the public ID. Let's see what is actually the load that is coming from this uploaded image. I'm gonna send the file here. Let's open the console. And let's submit. Okay, we have a network error. What is the error about? Let's see what is the error we have. So the message is saying that we have an invalid API key. So the API key is having something wrong. Yeah, we have the Cloudinary name 2 times here. So we need the API key from here. And now I think everything will work fine. Okay, let's send the image again. And yep, we have our image uploaded to Cloudinary, and this is the Cloudinary response. So as you see, this is the Cloudinary response that is coming back from the server which is the uploaded image from Cloudinary. Let's see what are the information that we have inside this image. This image is actually having an access mode of public. It has an API key, which we will not send back to, of course, we will just send some things of these. And the asset ID, I think there is a public ID here, which is here. That's it. It's in the folder user avatar, and it has generated a public ID, which will always be unique for each image unless you give it a name by yourself. And the folder is user avatar, and this is all the things that we need to know about our image. Now, do we need all of these? No, we just need this, the public ID. And I will tell you how we can use this public ID. We can even send it to the MongoDB and save the user with this avatar image. You will just give the image if you are having a schema for the user and you are sending the profile image of the user to the MongoDB. You just need this one. Why is that? We will just see in a second. So essentially now we knew how to upload an image to Cloudinary and how to preview the image on the front end, but we didn't know how to get that image from the server which is uploaded to Cloudinary, to get that result of that upload and get it and use it here in the front end instead of this one, because this one is coming just like from here. It is not uploaded or anything, it's just a preview for the image. But now we want to substitute this with a one that is coming from the submission, because right now we are not submitting anything. This is just like a translation for the image that I just put here as an input. But what if I submitted? The submission will go to the server and the server will send me back an uploaded image to Cloudinary with a public ID. I need this public ID to present the image here. But how are we gonna do that? How the public ID is going to make this image appear here? And now that's the time when we will understand how to preview an image on React coming from Cloudinary. So let's go right now here and let's make sure that we are getting the right data from the... Right now we are constantly log the result.data, but we need to save here a constant which is called uploaded, maybe uploaded image, which is equal the result that is coming from the Axios request dot data dot public ID, because as we have seen, we have got a public ID, which is we have got this. I think I need to make it, yeah, we got this. So this is the data, so we need this, the public ID. So that's what I'm going to write here, the public ID, and this is the uploaded image. What about to send this image to a component? In that component, it will return me back an image. So we will make the image element here. Instead of making it like this, we will remove this and we will put another one which is for the image. Or you know what, I will make another one, but I will make it below this one to see both of them and compare between them. So I'll send the image, this uploaded image, I'll send it to another component to handle it through the React Cloudinary. So let's make here another state and I'll call it uploaded image. And set upload like that. And I'll make the use state like this. So now I have a state of uploaded image. So let's update that once I submit. Here is handling the submit. So I'll set the upload to be the uploaded image here. So now I have an image that is ready to be sent to the component in which we will handle the Cloudinary image on React. Sorry for that. Let's go here and make another component which is called image.jsx, and in a blink we will make this with RAFCE to be a component of image, and in that component I want to return some data which will enable me to make an image. To make the things more clear, I don't need these divs, I just need an image tag, but I will not put it like that, of course. Let's see how can we handle the image component and what are the libraries we will use and what are the libraries that we will import. To know that, we can go here and in the getting started, let's see how I can just like create my first transformation or start to use React. So in the mode, let's go and choose React. Yes. So there's this one, image, but this is not actually what we need because this is not how the process is going to be. Let's look about that in another place. So to know how to deal with the Cloudinary image on React, you will not find it here. I tried to find it here, but it's not here. So we will go to the documentation because I do not remember exactly where I got this information at first. And we will go to the documentation and say React. You will find this React SDK. You will press it and you will see now what's going to appear here. Well, this is the way. This chapter is talking about how to move things and how to make things appear with the Cloudinary React libraries. Let's see that because you may think this is the full example that we will apply, but I will not apply it with this complexity. And believe me, sometimes you will need someone to clarify that to you. So the architecture of this file actually has two things. The URL generator, which is a JavaScript module, and the front-end frameworks. So let me show you how we can do that. You have here, I think, two libraries. One of them is which is the URL generator. It's one for making the transformations and the complex things for the image, and another one just like to import the component of image and these things. Component of image, that one is just like the usual image, but one that can handle the CDN. Let me clarify that more. You will need, of course, the React, and let's get this here in our new component, and let's remove this one. So here we have a component called Advanced Image. We borrowed that from a library called Cloudinary React. So essentially this is the library that will deal with, of course I installed that. You can install it before you start making anything here. So this one will essentially work and handle any images that you want to preview on the page. So advanced image is just like this one, just like a normal image with a source, which is the HTML one, but this one is for Cloudinary. So it is the same result of that on the HTML. And you will need, of course, Cloudinary itself, and you will need the transformation from Cloudinary URL generator npm package that will handle the transformation. Is that all? Okay, let's borrow these two, and don't worry, we will understand all of them. They are not actually so hard, but we will not also need all of them, except if you want to make all of them, but you don't really need that, don't worry. You do not need to borrow all of these packages. Just a small amount of them will be enough. But we will just like borrow them because we want to know what we will do with them. At first, I need to configure Cloudinary on my front end, just like I did when I tried to make that on the server side. So let me here configure Cloudinary inside the component we are making. So here we are configuring Cloudinary, which is the CLD. Here I should put the cloud name, and I think my cloud name is, let's see, what is my cloud name? Because I do not remember that. So my cloud name is eCart 2022. I'll put that here. I'll wrap that. So this is the cloud name, and we need now an instance of the image, which is I supposed to have this because I copied it, right? Where is it? However, here it is. So here he is telling me to use the public ID to make the image. Any image that this component will make, he will use the public ID of this image. And you will know now how this very, very helpful. So I will just put here the image that is coming from the other component, from the parent component here. And the parent component is saying that I'm not sending anything. Okay. There is an uploaded image here, this state. I will send this state to the other component. So let's do that. It will be image like that. And I'll send here this property, and I'll put inside it the uploaded image state. So now we have this property, and I've sent it to the image component, which is a child component. And let me get that here. I'll do like this to destructure the proofs that is coming for me. And let's copy it to make sure that we are alright. So yes, we now have a prop called uploaded image. Let's put it inside here. The uploaded image, remember, it's just a public ID. It's not an image, it's a public ID, because we will not handle that offline. We will handle that from a cloud on the internet. So it's just a CDN. We are dealing with a CDN with the public ID, and this is very good because there is no size. Now we have an instance of an image coming from Cloudinary. All we need now is to use this, the advanced image component, which is essentially a very, very simple image like this one, like that. But we will not make it like this. We will say advanced image. Now we have an image that needs a source and everything. Let's see how he is handling that in this very long example. So he is saying here, we will get to that back. We'll get back to this and that, because these are transformations and we may need them. Here it is. This is the advanced image, and this is the CLD image, my image. Okay, let's understand now what is this. Alright, so the CLD is what substitutes the source. It's just like this word, it's just like the source, and it takes a Cloudinary image, and here is the public ID, which will work as a way to call for the image from the source, and the source now is Cloudinary Media Library. So by giving it the public ID right now, we are now talking with the server, please send the image. Let's now put everything like that and save, and without dealing with any of these things above here, let's see what is the result of that on my React app. So I'm gonna upload an image. Now I have one, and let's submit. And now I have two, and the two are actually identical because I didn't do any transformations, any crops, any resizing for any of them. So the image is coming with all its default size. Now let's see how can we make some crops and things like that. Now this thing is very, very interactive. I mean, if I now said my image, I want to make default things for this image, so I'll make like that. Let's take more space here, and we will put this dot, and let's go and see what are the things that we can do with the image. As you see here, I can resize that. I can make it a thumbnail, which is especially for when I try to, the thumbnail here means that I want to make some changes with the width and with the height, and the thumbnail is imported here, and there is also the scale. We are taking that from a Cloudinary URL generator actions called resize. So from the resize, we will call this and that and these width and height properties. And there is something called here a gravity. The gravity means what exactly from the picture you want to focus on. And I want to focus, of course, on the face. So focus on face will always focus on the faces inside a picture. So let's take this one. Let's take this and put it here. Sorry, I don't know what happened to it. Okay, now I have my image and I have resized that, but I do not want it to be 150. I want it to be 100 pixel in 100 pixel. If it's 100 in 100 means it's a square, just like a thumbnail, and the gravity will be focused on face. Let's see what is the result of that. I didn't do anything to the same image, just I put those here. So this will process the image before it sends it to the component. Let's see what is the so as you see, this is 100 pixel in 100 pixel, and the focus is on the face. So this is great. Let's see what else I can do. I can crop the image. I can round the corners. I don't need to round the corners by 20, which is the radius. These are 20 pixel border radius. I don't need that. And here is the sepia effect. The sepia effect is what makes it take this color instead of the normal one. And this is an overlay to put an overlay on the image. We don't need that too. And these are things, transformation to put to the image. Resizing, scaling, adjusting opacity or adjusting brightness. And we don't need all of these. Positioning, if you want to change the position. Of course, you can handle all of that actually through your Sass or through your CSS. So you don't need all of these from here, but this is essentially to make or resize and compress the image that is coming from you for you. Now let's see what is actually now the size of this image. So if I said inspect like that, and you will see here that this image was a size of 2.1 kilobyte, which is actually a very great win to your front end performance. And let's look to the other one, which is this one. It's 139. Maybe it is not so big, essentially because I think I compressed that before, and because the rendered size is 877. But look at this one. This one is so much less with 2.1. Can you imagine the difference? The difference is 100, double the size, I guess. So let's see what we don't need from above. We don't need the radius. we don't need the sepia, we don't need the source, we don't need the opacity and brightness, the angel, and we don't need that too, the position or the compass. We need the focus on. Yeah, we need the focus. And we need the transformation. We don't need the scale. I think we do not need the transformation. We're not making any transformations here. So like that, we have everything that we need, and we have made an advanced image, and the image is working so great. By this way, we have made a React image working. Let me show you another thing, which is a tip for this video, is that there are plugins for this image. I mean, if you are talking about a gallery and you want to do some things for the image, there are some here. So let's see them. Something called the plugins. Here he is just like describing to us to install these. So let me get to the plugins part. Yes, there are some plugins to use, and the plugins are actually also awesome. This plugin is called the lazy load, and as you see, each image is coming to the view. It has a lazy load with the same image that is predominant in the background. So if this image has a green color, a predominant green color, it will appear with the predominant color before it actually appears. This is very helpful if you are talking about making a gallery or something and you do not want all the images to be sent in bulk. You just need to make it lazy load, and this will enable you to improve the performance tragically. Let's see here the plugin. So I just want to show you one plugin that may be helpful. Something else I need to show you here, instead of thumbnail, if you do not want to focus only on the face and make all the 100 pixels that you have here, you don't want all of them to be filled with the face, you can make it, instead of thumbnail, you can make it fill. And of course, let it be exported. The fill will be exported with the thumbnail here from the resize, and the fill will do it like this. So there will be still a gravity on the face, but this time it will fill the image, just like the background size. You will choose fill. So fill will take all the image and will make it inside the 100 pixel, but still the focus and the center will be on the face. Here they are, the plugins. We have 4 plugins for Cloudinary: lazy, responsive image, and the accessibility, and the placeholder. I want to show you, and by the way, the arrangement and the order is very important to make them work fine, and this is what's written here. The image placeholder is actually a very good one. I want just to show you the image placeholder. So this is how you can import them. So I'll say here plugins. Now I imported these plugins. I will remove this one. So I have 4 plugins right now: the lazy load, accessibility, responsive. I don't need the accessibility one, you will not need it. And the responsive, we can do that with CSS and React, so we don't need it too. So we have now the lazy load and the placeholder. So this is the order. We will take the order from here, and we will remove what's inside this order if we don't need it. Let's go to here and put them like that, but we still need to put the word plugins. Let's remove this one and this one. And we also need to put them inside the brackets of array like that. and to put the comma here. So now we have two things to use, the lazy load and the placeholder. And the placeholder that I want to use is actually called using the predominant color. So the predominant color means that the predominant color inside the image will be used to make it just like download this predominant color before it downloads the image itself. So now if we can just like make this component appear like several times like that. So we have it all here, but let's refresh and try another one. Let's try this image. I know my images looks strange, but it's okay. You see that color that appeared, which is the predominant color. Now I have all the images here and all of them are appearing with the same way. Let's change that to thumbnail and see what will happen. I'm sorry I'm playing around with the things, but I want to see what's happening with the image. Yeah, we are here, we're supposed to be here. Okay, let's change that back to thumbnail and see what will happen. So it's the same results, I guess. So it will not appear unless it's in a group image. I don't have that right now, so maybe we can see what about this one. I have to submit it because there is no face, so there is no gravity. If you notice this, if there was a true or apparent face, the gravity will be on the face. As you see, the gravity here is on the face. Let's make the fill. So yep, I think there is a difference between the fill and the thumbnail, which is in the what's appearing inside here. So let's make it like 200. Well, we have reached the end of this. I hope you understood how we deal with the images and how we deal with them on the server side and on React. I know the video was too long, but I'm really sorry. I wanted to show you everything I know about Cloudinary, and there are more to know about Cloudinary, but I think essentially this is all what you need to know if you want to make an avatar file. And there will be another video about how to upload several images at one time. Thank you a lot.